82. This is Farmall 51 here. Yep, here's the newest tractor to the fleet, I guess. It's a 1949 Farmall H. This particular H here, picked it up yesterday. Good friend of mine had it. He didn't really, just had it, and he didn't, not really looking to sell, but he was looking for one, so they had one. He decided he'd sell it, so anyway, picked this up here, pretty good price. This is what we were kind of looking for. You see in the previous H there, it had a lot of problems and more than I wanted to get into. This H here is pretty much ready to go like it sits. Hydraulics work, the belt pulley works, PTO works, lights work, it cranks up and run. It does not right now. We had one plug that was bad, and the carburetor's got a little bit of trash in it, and it wants to leak. But this here will be the 1949 Farmall H, and this will not be staying with me. It'll be going to my father-in-law. So he will be putting a 3-point hitch on it, or we will for him here soon, and then it will be going to his house for him to rake hay with. Sheet metal couldn't be any better. Excellent sheet metal. As you can see here, not a dent nowhere. Really no rust. I do see a little crack right there, which that can be welded back. It is missing the little insert here for where the, like I said, the little piece would come out, and that's what would steer your cultivators. Tires on it, I think they're a little big. They are not far from the top, the front bolster there, but anyway, hood is good shape. Really, it wouldn't take much to sand this down here and put a cheap coat of paint on it, but we're not going to do that. It's going to stay like it is. Also, this tractor here was a kerosene burner at one time, and kind of neat thing is it still has the kerosene tank on it, and everything is still plumbed. All the lines are still plumbed. So, but I will be taking that off. I will not be throwing it away. I will not be selling it. Whenever I get this tractor back, whenever he decides he doesn't want it anymore, or one day we end up with it, I will put it back on there. And it's kind of hard to see, but you can still see it still has the shutters on it. And the only piece I'm missing is the little bar that would go right, linkage that would go right here. And I think there was a piece of linkage that would run back up to where you could open and close the shutters, and or it may be on the inside here. I can't remember now. I've seen one with it before, but like I say, the tractor just, a few little minor little things that maintenance wise. We'll change the oil, change the rear end fluid. I always change the oil on everything I get, even the 2140s, everything that's ever come here. The first thing I do is change the oil and check everything over, because you never know what sitting this cast on days like today, where it's sort of in the 40s, 50s, or in the 50s there, and it'll concrete a sweat. Inside of the old pole barn here is sweat, things like that. So you got to kind of watch that. If they sit for any period of time, when you crank them up and run them, it kind of works the moisture out, especially if you use high tran like you're supposed to. Not in these tractors. These tractors do not use high tran. Most of what they used was 30 weight oil in the lift, and your regular gear oil and transmission and stuff like that. Not till you got to the later tractors, you had to worry. You got to use high tran. But anyway, that's another story, another day. It has the little 1-wire mini alternator, and there's some kind of wiring on here that I'm not quite sure about. So what I'm going to do is to be and this here switch here charging, it'll make the let the alternator charge, switch it off, and it'll cut the charging off. I don't know what that is. So to be sure about everything, I'm going to completely rip all the wiring off. And there's not much wiring. You don't have anything. You got the alternator, you got your distributor and stuff right there. Basically you got 4 or so wires that you have to worry about. So, and all the wiring goes up there to the control box. Lights do work on it. I will not start it today. Like I said, we've got one plug out, and I started doing some work on the wiring yesterday when we got it in, just to kind of get an idea of what we need. So, and you don't never know what people have done when they wire it themselves. And like I say, me and my wife, we wired that entire tractor, and it has the exact same setup as this, a little 1-wire mini alternator. We did not have lights on it, but we did wire the tack into it and managed to get everything to work the first time somehow. So, like I said, but I'm rewire it. It's got new belts on the alternator and the fan blade there. Really no major leaking anywhere. Usual little seepage here and there. Like I say, even the belt pulley here is not really leaking that much. Like I say, the tires are, I'd say they're fairly good, 50% or so maybe, or less, maybe a little less, but good enough for raking hay, so that's what he's going to do with it. Like I say, the front tires are brand spanking new on them, or previously used, but they're pretty much new. The back are, like I say, 40%, 40 to 50%. So steering on it is tight. The brake pedals, we'll start over here. Virtually no play in it. Everything works. The gas tank, the only thing I really don't like about it is the gas tank was lined, and I'm not a big fan of lining the gas tank. To me, that's just it'll buy you time and it'll work, but eventually anything that comes in contact with gasoline, petroleum product, will break down eventually, and you eventually start getting contaminants in the fuel. That's that liner. I don't care what you say, eventually gas will break down and cut through metal eventually, but over time. But I just don't like, I'm not a big fan of the liners. And the other 140, that not these two here, but the other 140, they used to have the 63. The gas tank is up there, and it's got a couple pinholes in it, and I'm gonna, I don't know why I saved it, but I figured somebody wanted to do some trading or something. But anyway, I'm not a big fan of the liners, so and if you are, I'm sorry, but that's just me. It's got excellent oil pressure. I'll probably change those gauges out. Like I say, all he's going to do is rake hay, but other than that, that's pretty good there. I'm going to take the tanks off. I'm going to take all the kerosene equipment off the gas tank, the lines, well, I'm going to leave the shutters on. That's not really hurting anything, but I'm going to take all that stuff off. I'm going to put it up on the shelf, preserve that. So an excellent job was done adding the 1-wire alternator to it. Radiator is in good shape, no problems there. Front bolster, but yeah, the tires seem awfully big. I'm wondering if they come off an H, but governor racks well. All the hoses are in good shape. Like I said, the fan blade and pulley, there's no play in it. Manifold looks to be in good shape. Carburetor, like I said, it might have a little trash in it, but I'm gonna check the screen up here and check to see if it. I'm not really familiar with the H carburetors. Like I said, I've never had an H. I've never really drove an H. I've drove M's and other tractors, but never an H. So what I'm gonna do is take these metal lines off, clean them out, and probably put some rubber lines up there, or cut them and use where I can put an inline filter. I'm kind of like the large inline filters where I can tell, I can see the shape of the gas. So battery's in pretty good shape. I think it's no problem starting on it. So, and the serial number is 318097, which puts it at a 1949, I believe. it's a late 1949. I'm not sure. I don't think it's a 1950, but when I looked at the serial number, pretty sure I read it right, and it's a 1949 model. Which I kind of like the plumbing here on the pump. Got one remote outlet, and with the 3-point hitch that we will be putting on here, that will work out excellent. So let's see. Like I said, the lights work. This tire here is a little better shape than the other one. They are a matched set, however, this one here is a little, for some reason, got a little more meat on it. Wheel weights, 150-pound wheel weights. Seat, it's got the flip over, let's see. The flip up seat, so you can stand up and cultivate, or, a lot of times farmers would, would stand on the platform and just actually stand. I'm pretty sure, you get tired of standing all day, but seat's not in the best of shape. A little bit of rust here, a little bit of holes. We got a cushion I'm gonna put on there. Steering wheel is not much better. Of course, it's not bad, but we may replace that for him, and it would have a little bit better of a hands. Won't be black every time you use the tractor. So amp gauge works. Like I said, lights work, kill switch, and then you got a little starter switch down here. It's not the original switch, but it works. And if I come across anything one day, I'll change that out for them. Brakes are good, clutch is good. Like I say, it shifts fine. And as you can see here, this particular part, the upper platform here, was 623S. So that is June the 23rd of 1949 when this particular part was cast. That's your date codes, which International put into most every casted part. You just have to look for them. They'll be on your hubs. Major casted parts, engine blocks, things like that. So you can pretty much tell when your tractor is. You can tell if parts have been switched out. Most of the time, the dates will be within a month of each other. So, like the 1950 Cub that is for sale there, everything on it, most of the parts on it are within 5 to 10 days of each other. Actually, everything from January 3rd to 12th. So, pretty close. So, it has the twin drawbar attachment. All that's in pretty good shape. It's not wore. Even the hole here is not egg shaped, so not too bad. Let's see. Seals are not, the axle's not leaking. This tire here is probably the worst of the two. You can see some of the drive rotting or cracking here, weather cracking. It's not too bad, but like I say, it'll work for what he's going to do, rate K. That's pretty much a good walk around of the 1949 Farmall H. It's going to be a straight pipe on it. It had a muffler on it, so but he's going to run a straight pipe on it. But for the most part, this is exactly what he needs. Just a plain straight H that he's going to put the 3-point lift on, and he'll have the 1-cylinder lift arms for what he's going to do. And like I said, I'll do some more videos on this tractor. Like I said, I'm going to do some maintenance items, oil change, and change the filter, things like that, your plugs, and change the wires. Go ahead and eliminate all the problems that could arise. You got old plug wires. In fact, there's one wire here that's skint on the bottom just a little bit where it's been bent, and it just without hardly touching it there, it just kind of come off. But points are actually fine, but I'm going to change all that. Like I say, you eliminate all your problems, possibilities when you're using it, such as your points and plug wires and plugs, things like that, can go wrong or cause problems or cause other things to act up and you not really realize. Just eliminates a lot of headache. Go ahead and start out with a fresh, clean slate. Is what I like to do on a lot of these tractors. Let's see, the seat here. I know, I told you about this flip-up seat, but this is I believe this is the earlier style spring-type seat frame. Most are like the H, the 1944 H. You know, it has the different style seat frame like the Super C has, with the shock absorber and all. I believe this was a little bit rougher ride because that spring does not give much. So you know, I may end up, you know, one day just switching this out, but I'm not sure yet. But I like to keep things original. This is what this tractor come with. I'm pretty sure. I'm not quite 100% sure, but anyway, it's enough. Like I say, you'll see some more videos of this tractor. Next video, I'll take some video of it running once we get the plugs changed. And like I say, it ran fine. It just you go to throttle it up and it would sort of stumble on itself, like it couldn't get the fuel. So I'm thinking maybe the main jet or something in the carburetor probably needs cleaning. Probably the little screen that's going into the carburetor probably needs cleaning. Probably the screen that's in the bottom of the fuel tank needs cleaning. That was the, you know, you had basically two fuel strainers on these tractors. You had one most of the time that was on the inlet of the carburetor there, a little small screen that would catch little fine material, and then you had the screen that was in the fuel bowl. And those screens on the fuel, they work, but they tend to let really fine particles get through. And then if the screen is not seated 100%, or you know, it gets rust holes in it and allows things to pass through, and then you end up having a problem. So, and as much as I like to keep stuff original, what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to take all that off and I will keep it. It will not be thrown away. I'm going to put an elbow on the tank and put an inline filter for what he's going to do. And like I say, if they ever get the tractor back, it will all be put back and run originally. It saves a lot of headache. Inline filters, you know, they do sort of, some people say they do restrict the flow of the fuel. I like to get the larger filters where the filter can fill up and have enough fuel. When the tractor loads up, it'll still have enough fuel. So, like I said, I've never had any problems. We pulled this tractor, every one of these tractors, two 140s, they're still original with the types of original filters. So, I was saying, this one here, we've had no problems with it, and this is a little bit smaller of a filter than I like to use on this tractor. But like I say, same alternator, and we've got just the elbow on the bottom of the tank. Just eliminates a lot of the problems maintenance-wise. You have the one filter there that you have to, where you can keep a check on the clear filter. You can watch and make sure everything is good on it. So I think that's it. Like I say, I'll do a startup video sometime soon here when we get some of the maintenance done on it. And before we take it to him, I might get out and pull the drag disc I've got with it. So if there's any more questions, feel free to ask. Like I say, this is a 1949 Farmall H, late 49, I believe. They started out with 300,000 in 1949, and later on, I think 1950 is 320 something, I think. So, but it's got to be a late 49. So, all right. Thanks for watching, and talk to you later. And subscribe and click the like button. All right. Thanks for watching.